get a Big Mac with fries and a Coke? Well, if you want, you can take a bite of a plethora of mouth-tasting foods like double cheeseburgers, chicken nuggets, McGriddle's breakfast sandwich, McFlurries, and of course, the fan-favorite Happy Meal. You literally get it all when you're at the most loved and popular fast food chain in the whole planet, McDonald's. McDonald's has been serving hamburgers, fries, and milkshakes since 1948. With around 40,000 locations in more than 100 countries, this global giant serves 69 million customers every day. It is one of the most American brands in the world. Right up there next to Coca-Cola, Mickey Mouse, and the Yankees, there are the legendary golden arches inside which you get the best Happy Meal you can think of. Operating over thousands of restaurants worldwide, McDonald's is arguably the most successful restaurant company in the entire world. And it all started with a hot dog stand, not with burgers and fries that we love today. Like every giant food chain, McDonald's has a remarkable origin story as well. It all began with two brothers, Maurice McDonald and Richard McDonald, who started from zero and created a fast food empire worth billions. McDonald's is the iconic fast food chain which has been serving hamburgers, fries, and milkshakes since 1948. Remarkably, 1 in 8 Americans has worked at McDonald's at some point in their lives. Currently, McDonald's is so ginormous that their revenue for the 12 months ending was over $25 billion. And, as of August 2024, McDonald's has a market cap of nearly $200 billion. This easily makes McDonald's the world's 60th most valuable company. Now, before talking about the backstory of McDonald's and its traditional operation method, let's shed light on its robust digitalization for a moment. Whenever you visit a major city, can you think of the most common food chains you come across? Well, we bet the top 3 that comes across your mind at the moment must be KFC, Starbucks, and McDonald's. Isn't that right? And most likely, these chains are far from traditional these days. Yahoo Finance says, in the last few years, getting faster access to fast food has increased even more with the development in digitization. E-commerce has led to the use of online fast food delivery services by restaurants and cafes. That means globalization and global distribution networks have made it far easier for fast food chains to set up franchises in other countries as well. No wonder, there's no shortage of these food chains no matter where you go. If it seems like there's a McDonald's everywhere you go, that's because there is, almost. There were more than 41,000 locations of the chain restaurant in the world in 2023, according to Statista. And McDonald's isn't done growing. In fact, they plan to open 9,000 new locations worldwide by 2027. The fast food giant opened its first location in San Bernardino, California in 1940 and has grown exponentially since then. And now, the story of McDonald's begins with two brothers, Maurice McDonald and Richard McDonald. They were born into a poor Irish immigrant family in New Hampshire. Their father, Patrick, worked in a shoe factory for 42 years before being laid off without a pension. This hardship pushed the brothers to dream of becoming millionaires, as they realized that their rural hometown couldn't offer the prosperous life they wanted to have. In 1926, Mac moved to Hollywood. He was tempted by a relative's connections in the booming film industry. In 1927, Dick and his brother began working as handymen and set movers at Columbia Studios, earning just $25 a week. Realizing these jobs wouldn't make them rich, they saved every penny and sought better opportunities in the film industry. By 1930, the brothers were nearly broke. They caught wind of a struggling theater, the Mission Theater, located 20 miles from Los Angeles. Taking a bold risk, they struck a deal with the owner saying that they would take over the lease and pay him later if they made a profit. Their gamble paid off, and by 1931, the McDonald brothers had transformed the theater into the Beacon. The Beacon Theater, which the brothers had opened during the Great Depression, faced tough times. Business was slow, and they barely managed to keep it running. One day, they noticed something interesting. A small root beer and hot dog stand nearby was always crowded, even when other places were empty. The brothers were struck by the idea that food might be more reliable than movie tickets. Inspired by this realization, they decided to sell the beacon after 7 years. They took a leap of faith into the food industry, which turned out to be a crucial step toward creating a future where hamburgers would become a sensation. In 1937, they opened their first food stand, the Air Dome. Initially, they sold hot dogs, and later added hamburgers at 10 cents each and offered all-you-can-drink orange juice for 5 cents, thanks to the plentiful local orange groves. This was the beginning of their journey into the food business, which later became McDonald's. In 1940, the brothers decided to relocate. After several banks turned them down, the Bank of America finally approved a $5,000 loan. With this, they moved their food stand 45 miles east to San Bernardino, California. The move brought a major change. They renamed the stand McDonald's Barbecue and revamped the menu to include 25 items, mostly barbecue. At a time when drive-ins were all the rage, McDonald's Barbecue thrived, thanks to its prime location on a corner lot with drive-in service. Their business boomed, earning $40,000 annually, equivalent to about $700,000 today. Even with their success, the brothers wanted to grow further. As World War II ended, America's focus shifted to fast service and food preparation. They realized they needed a quicker way to serve their customers. Noticing that hamburgers were their biggest sellers and easiest to make, they decided to streamline their operations. Inspired by the efficiency of the Ford assembly line, they closed their drive-in in October 1948 and redesigned their restaurant for speed. When McDonald's reopened on December 12, 1948, it was a different place. They dropped barbecue from the name and simplified the menu to just 6 items: hamburgers, cheeseburgers, potato chips, coffee, soft drinks, and apple pie. Customers could order and pick up their food at the counter, with self-serve condiments and trash cans adding to the convenience. They also introduced a new mascot, Speedy. It was a chubby man with a hamburger head and a chef's hat, which symbolized their quick service. These changes allowed McDonald's to sell burgers for half the price of other restaurants, though some customers were unhappy about the new setup. Gradually, they began attracting customers like cab drivers, sales clerks, and construction workers who appreciated the quick service during their lunch breaks. Kids and teenagers also started to enjoy the novelty of ordering their food and carrying their trays themselves. This slow build-up turned into a local hit, with McDonald's eventually pulling in $100,000 a year. By 1949, they swapped potato chips for French fries and apple pie for milkshakes to speed up service time to just 1 minute. In 1952, McDonald's got a huge boost when American Restaurant Magazine called it a revolutionary development. Visitors from all over came to see what the fuss was about. Realizing their old stand needed a fresh look, Dick McDonald dreamed up a new design with flair. He sketched out 2 arches on the sides of the building. The brothers then worked with architect Stanley Clark Meston and his assistant Charles Fish to turn this idea into reality. The new look featured bright red and white tiles, shiny stainless steel, big glass windows, neon lights, and the famous 25-foot yellow arches they called the Golden Arches. To streamline burger preparation, they decided to work with condiment application. Dick McDonald was inspired by peppermint patties from his childhood, so he visited a candy factory under the guise of a writer to learn their secrets. After seeing how it's done, Dick was inspired to do something similar. He asked a machinist to create a condiment dispenser that would release a precise amount of mustard and ketchup each time. Although Richard McDonald was not yet a millionaire by age 50, the brothers began franchising their business. In May 1953, Neil Fox became the first franchisee to open a McDonald's with the Golden Arches in Phoenix, Arizona. The second franchise, opened by Fox's brother-in-law Roger Williams and Bud Landon in Downey, California, is the oldest surviving McDonald's with its original look. Initially, the brothers considered managing multiple restaurants themselves, but realized it would be too challenging. They hired Bill Tansey as a franchise agent. He successfully sold 21 franchises, which resulted in 9 new restaurants. However, health issues forced Tansey to step down. Now enters Ray Kroc, the exclusive salesman of the multi-mixer. It's a machine that could mix 5 milkshakes simultaneously. When he noticed that McDonald's had ordered 8 multi-mixers for one location, he visited and was impressed by their operation. To talk about Raymond Albert Kroc, he was born in Oak Park, Illinois. Ray's father worked for Western Union and loved baseball, while his mother was a housewife and piano teacher. Growing up, Ray played the piano and organ, enjoyed baseball, and worked various jobs, including at his uncle's drugstore. There, he learned the art of customer service and salesmanship. In high school, Ray was known for his intelligence and imagination. His inventive spirit would later play a crucial role in McDonald's rise to global fame. You may be wondering why we are talking so much about Ray. Stay put, because you'll know in moments why he is so attached to McDonald's. Now, by the time Ray was in high school, he had dropped out. He sold coffee beans and joined the Red Cross as an ambulance driver by lying about his age when World War I broke out. During training in Connecticut, he met a fellow underage recruit, Walt Disney. Disney fell ill and was sent home, while Ray's deployment was cut short by the war's end. In 1919, he played in a band at a summer resort, where he met Ethel Fleming, who was his future wife. After his father got a promotion, the Kroc family moved to New York, but Ray soon returned to Chicago. In 1922, Ray's father advised him to secure a steady job before marrying. Seeing potential in the growing popularity of paper cups, Ray joined the Lily Tulip Paper Cup Company and married Ethel. He worked tirelessly, sold cups by day, and played piano at a radio station by night. This lifestyle strained his marriage until he got Saturdays off. Ray's hard work paid off when he landed a big account with a German restaurant, earning enough to buy a new Ford Model T. He then took a break to explore Florida, where he sold property and played in an orchestra. When the market crashed, he returned to Chicago. By 1927, Ray focused on selling paper cups to various businesses, including street vendors and concession stands. Despite the Great Depression, he thrived, buying a new Buick, hiring a secretary, and even having a live-in maid. In 1930, he secured a major deal with Walgreens. Ray saw that Prince Castle ice cream parlors were doing well and noticed a thicker, colder milkshake being sold in Michigan. He persuaded Earl Prince to try this milkshake style, but they had trouble with single-spindle mixers burning out. To fix this, Prince invented the multi-mixer, a 5-spindle machine that became the industry standard. Ray was excited to introduce the multi-mixer to Lily Tulip Cup Company, which made Sanitary Cup and Service Corporation its exclusive distributor. When Lily Tulip's headquarters in New York heard about the multi-mixer, they dismissed it. Being disappointed, Ray was encouraged by Earl Prince to quit Lily Tulip and exclusively sell the multi-mixer. Sales for the multi-mixer were slow in 1938, but Ray was determined to gain full ownership. In 1940, after 2 years of effort, his former boss agreed to sell it for $68,000 in cash. Ray increased his mortgage to pay $12,000 up front and paid the remaining $56,000 over 5 years with interest. After the war, business took off for Ray. He sold multi-mixers to Tasty Freeze, Dairy Queen, and A&W Root Beer drive-ins, averaging 5,000 units a year and even reaching 8,000 units in 1 year at $150 each. However, by the early 1950s, sales faced a challenge as Walgreens and other stores removed soda fountains. In 1954, while seeking the next big thing, Ray noticed increasing calls about mixers from the McDonald's restaurant in San Bernardino, California. Since he was intrigued by their bulk orders, Ray visited the small drive-in. He was impressed by the clean, efficient operation and family-friendly atmosphere, unlike the typical rowdy drive-ins. When he observed customers' enthusiasm for McDonald's affordable, delicious fries and hamburgers, Ray met with the McDonald brothers, Mac and Dick. The brothers referred to Ray as Mr. Multi-Mixer and were happy to explain their operation and prices. They sold cheeseburgers for 19 cents, hamburgers for 15 cents, soft drinks for 10 cents, milkshakes for 20 cents, and coffee for 5 cents. That night, Ray dined with the McDonald brothers and was impressed by their efficient system and their plans for a new design featuring yellow arches and neon lights. Despite some flaws, Ray saw the potential for McDonald's to become a nationwide chain. He realized that each restaurant would need 8 multi-mixers, which could make him very wealthy. Ray initially had no plans to own McDonald's. He just wanted to see their restaurants grow so he could sell more mixers. At 52, Ray was dealing with health issues like diabetes and arthritis. He noticed a drop in multi-mixer sales and saw an opportunity with McDonald's. The next day, he returned to learn more about their operations, particularly the fries, which were widely praised. After observing a busy lunch rush, Ray gave an enthusiastic speech about McDonald's potential. However, the brothers were hesitant, preferring to keep their operations simple. Eventually, Ray offered to take on the expansion himself. Returning to Chicago, Ray carried a signed contract from the McDonald brothers to be their franchise agent. The agreement stipulated a $1,900 for franchise fee, with Ray receiving 1.9% of gross sales from franchises and the McDonald brothers receiving 0.5%. Ray Kroc's intense focus on McDonald's in 1955 took a toll on his marriage to Ethel. He began as the franchise agent and founded McDonald's System, Inc., teaming up with Art Jacobs to open the first McDonald's in Des Plaines, Illinois. The first year was tough, with problems ranging from construction delays to replicating the McDonald brothers' famous fries. Ray worked hard to solve these issues and developed his own system for making the perfect fries. After finalizing the agreement, Ray found 2 big problems. The McDonald's name had been sold to 10 stores in California and Arizona, and the franchise rights in Cook County, Illinois, where his store was located, had been sold to an ice cream company. Ray had to buy back these rights for $25,000, which was $20,000 more than the original price. By the end of 1955, Ray Kroc had opened 2 more McDonald's locations, with sales reaching $235,000. He followed the McDonald brothers' format closely and emphasized cleanliness among his staff. The following year, Ray opened 8 more McDonald's, ensuring consistency across all the new locations. Harry Sonneborn's Franchise Realty Corporation played a key role by changing McDonald's real estate strategy. They began leasing land and buildings to franchisees with a markup, which helped drive the company's growth. In January 1957, Ray recruited Fred Turner, who excelled in managing operations. Turner determined the ideal burger patty recipe and managed all food and supply purchasing. By 1958, there were 34 McDonald's restaurants. Despite conflicts, Ray and Harry shared a vision for McDonald's expansion. June Martino, who was Ray's secretary, often mediated between the two. Turner's leadership in operations was important, as was Harry's financial strategy. This very effort turned a $1,000 startup into $170 million in real estate. However, Ray's personal life was tumultuous. In 1960, he met Joan Smith in Minneapolis, and he proposed to her for marriage. After divorcing Ethel, Ray sold Prince Castle sales for $150,000 to cover legal fees. On the other side, Joan hesitated and didn't divorce her husband immediately, which left Ray to focus entirely on McDonald's. Ray's persistence paid off when he bought out the McDonald brothers for $2.7 million. This is how he secured sole ownership of McDonald's, despite there being a setback with the original San Bernardino location. As he wanted to assert his dominance, Ray forced the brothers to change their restaurant's name to the Big M. Ray Kroc decided to replace the early mascot, Speedy, with the iconic Golden Arches. He also introduced new policies to maintain control over franchises, including a rule that franchisees could own only one store at a time. In 1961, when Ray's wife, Joan, chose not to divorce him, Ray moved to California. There, he discovered that Joan and her husband had opened a McDonald's in South Dakota. Ray's determination to expand continued as he opened a McDonald's near the original location to challenge the McDonald brothers. In 1963, Ray's personal life took a new turn as he met and married Jane Green. This year also saw the debut of Ronald McDonald. To remind you, this is the exact character who looks like a clown in the classic shades of yellow and red. He was initially portrayed by Willard Scott and later redesigned by circus performer Coco the Clown. In 1965, Ray became president of McDonald's and expanded into suburban areas. To fund further growth, McDonald's went public and sold shares at $22.50 each. In the meanwhile, the company also transitioned from hand-cut to frozen French fries as they streamlined operations and maintained consistency across all locations. By the end of 1965, McDonald's had expanded to a staggering 700 restaurants in 44 states. On Thanksgiving 1966, the new Ronald McDonald debuted on TV during the Macy's Day Parade. The year ended with tension between Harry Sonneborn and Ray Kroc, which led to Harry's resignation as president due to health issues and disagreements over expansion plans. Harry sold his McDonald's stock and moved to Alabama, alongside taking some executives with him. Ray Kroc then lifted the suspension on new constructions and resumed expanding the chain. In 1967, McDonald's raised hamburger prices from 15 to 18 cents and introduced the Big Mac. It was created by franchisee Jim Delegati. Initially sold under different names, it was renamed by a 21-year-old advertising secretary, Esther Glickstein Rose. By 1968, the Big Mac was available nationwide, and you know the rest. It became an iconic menu item back then, and it continues the legacy till date. Ray Kroc was recognized as the founder of McDonald's, who transformed it into a global corporation. Meanwhile, the original McDonald brothers lost business due to Kroc's expansion and eventually sold their remaining restaurant. The year 1967 also saw the first McDonald's in Canada and Puerto Rico. Fred Turner became president of McDonald's in 1968, and June Martino became the original secretary. Ray Kroc sought new ideas for McDonald's. He shockingly reunited with Joan Smith. This reunion led to their marriage in 1969 after divorcing their respective spouses. McDonald's continued to evolve and introduced the familiar M logo. Their apple pie was more popular, which became a nationwide menu item by the 1970s. The chain's look also shifted from stainless steel to the brick and mansard roof design. By the end of 1969, McDonald's had sold its 5 billionth hamburger. In 1970, the Shamrock Shake was introduced for St. Patrick's Day, although its origin story remains disputed. Also, McDonaldland, a fantasy-themed advertising campaign, began to appeal to children. It featured fun characters like the Hamburglar. In 1971, McDonald's took another giant leap. It expanded internationally with locations in Australia, Japan, and the Netherlands. The first version of the value meal was known as the Big Meal, which was introduced shortly. Also, the Quarter Pounder was created by franchisee Al Bernardin, which became a menu staple. Sadly, the original San Bernardino McDonald's was demolished, and Mac McDonald passed away in 1971. By 1972, McDonald's annual sales reached $1 billion. Next came the Egg McMuffin. It was developed by a franchise operator in Santa Barbara. This was also introduced with a view to entering McDonald's into the breakfast market. The sandwich had Canadian bacon, a griddle fried egg, and American cheese on an English muffin. This innovation was loved by many and made McDonald's a go-to spot for breakfast. Ray Kroc's ambitions extended beyond McDonald's as he showed interest in buying the Chicago Cubs, though the deal did not materialize. The first Swedish McDonald's opened in Stockholm in October 1973. In 1974, Ray Kroc eyed the San Diego Padres. He eventually purchased the struggling team. He became deeply involved and even apologized to fans for poor performances. Yet, he remained passionate about the experience. Kroc then launched the first Ronald McDonald House in Philadelphia. This is where he offered a refuge for families of hospitalized children. Inspired by Wendy's drive-thru, McDonald's introduced its own in Sierra Vista, Arizona in 1975. The special twist here was they aimed for 50-second service. By 1976, McDonald's had 4,000 restaurants worldwide. They hired chef René Arend to enhance the menu even more. Kroc then became senior chairman. He published his autobiography named Grinding It Out. That year, McDonald's also introduced its breakfast menu. In 1977, the Happy Meal was born, thanks to Yolanda Cofino's Menu Ronald in Guatemala. McDonald's also introduced Braille menus and opened its 6,000th restaurant in Munich by 1980. The McChicken debuted, but failed initially. But this actually paved the way for the successful Chicken McNuggets, which later became a staple by 1983. Kroc died in 1984, and he left a fortune to his wife, Joan. She made significant charitable contributions. That year, McDonald's celebrated serving its 50 billionth burger. The first Ronald McDonald House opened in 1986, followed by the first McDonald's Monopoly game in 1987. The chain expanded into Africa and the Arab world, with Morocco and Israel respectively. To step into the world of coffee a year afterward, McCafe launched in Melbourne, Australia, to attract more foot traffic. There was trouble in paradise, though. In 1994, Stella Liebeck suffered third-degree burns from spilled McDonald's coffee, leading to a landmark lawsuit. Despite this setback, McDonald's introduced the McFlurry in 1997, which quickly became a hit. On a different note, Dick McDonald passed away in 1998, looking back positively on his partnership with Ray Kroc. They introduced premium salads, McGriddles, and chicken selects. They also launched the I'm Lovin' It campaign in 2003. Morgan Spurlock's 2004 documentary, Supersize Me, led McDonald's to drop supersized options. A film about Ray Kroc's journey, the founder, premiered in 2016. In 2018, McDonald's celebrated the Big Mac's 50th anniversary with the introduction of the Grand Mac. The following year, the McHive, the world's smallest McDonald's designed for bees, showcased the company's commitment to environmental efforts. By 2021, McDonald's continued to innovate and demonstrate its enduring global impact. Kudos to the pioneers Maurice and Richard McDonald, and especially Ray Kroc. Their vision turned a small barbecue stand into a global fast food empire that's become a staple in our lives. Now, here's a bonus point for you. You may already know McDonald's as a place where students go to get a cheap fast food meal to fuel their studies. It's a staple for millions of students across the world. But did you know that McDonald's is also responsible for educating the next generation of successful restaurant managers and owners? If not, here's your chance. As one of the world's largest employers with restaurants dotting the globe, McDonald's has created an educational institution where they can train their staff members. In some ways, McDonald's University is more difficult to get into than Harvard. The staff members who attend this school can graduate with a very distinguished degree in hamburgerology. McDonald's University is also known as Hamburger University. It was established in 1961 for the purpose of teaching its employees the business of restaurant management. The university's first graduating class in Illinois had only 14 students. But today, there are over 5,000 McDonald's University students worldwide every year. So, there's no question, McDonald's was the first restaurant company to offer a global training program in the world. So now, which giant brand story do you want us to cover the next time? Ponder it over and let us know as you take a big bite of your Big Mac oh so deliciously. Until next time.